Hey again. Okay, so I joined a recreation center gym. It was $35 for the year. And I would go there I would drop my daughter off at kindergarten, and then I would go to the gym. I also did Leslie Sanzone walk at home videos. So I would do the walk at home videos in my living room, and my son, less than a year, so he couldn't walk. He was being the Johnny jump up, jumping up and down. And so I would walk to him, back, walk to him, walk back, and so he thought it was fun, and we'd do that every single day. And so then right after that is when I moved into the gym. So what happened in starting, I would get on the treadmill and walk, and I would see that I would walk for so many miles, and then I would see how many calories I burned. And I think that's where it all started for me in paying attention to calories. Is I would see, okay, it took me this long and this much effort to burn this little bit of calories. So what if I didn't eat this or that amount of calories, or in that granola bar or in that fruits whatever snack or whatever the heck snack I was eating? What if I didn't eat those things, and then I would save those calories? So if I burned this many calories and I saved this, then my goal was to not have 1,000 calories less per day. So I burned 500 and I didn't eat 500. So that made up my 1,000. But it wasn't like I was, I thought I cooked semi-healthy. I didn't really pay attention to, if it was, cheese or milk or, that sort of thing, or the carbs. It was mostly just looking at the calories for me. And that was mostly calories out of drinks and snacks, not really out of breakfast, lunch, or dinner. It's just those extra things that I would grab. So I did that for a little while, and started to see, a significant weight loss. I was, had been pregnant, so I had to lose 30 or 40 pounds. So as I went from walking to walk running, and then to run walking, or to running. So then I would run around the track, and I started to like that a lot. I used to run in high school, so I hated running in high school. I played tennis in high school, and I still love tennis, but I hated running. And now, I started running, and I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. And I think I started to like it more because I started to see more results. When I was in high school, I didn't really, I wasn't really running to lose weight. I was running to be on the cross country team, and I was only running to be on the cross country team because my friend from tennis told me I should run on the cross country team. So it wasn't a big goal. But as I got older, I wanted to lose the baby weight. And so running became it for me. We did not have any equipment at home. We didn't, and when you're running at home, or when you're at home with the kids, that they're with you. So if I could put them in the jogging stroller, yes, they would be crying while they're in the jogging stroller sometimes, and they'd be screaming. But if I brought them snacks and a book to look at or whatever, I could push them in the double jogging stroller and at least, get outside. So that was cool. It was around that time that, so I guess maybe when my son was about 2, things started getting a little crazy for me in my head, because I had now had 3 kids that I was trying to manage and help out, and make sure that everything was running smoothly in their world, school, homework, and that sort of thing. And I had a husband who was working night shifts, and he was sleeping all day. So he was gone all night and he was sleeping all day. And so I was just the only person, a single parent, even though I was married. So, a single parent that I didn't have to work full time outside the home, but I definitely was working full time inside the home. I felt resentful. I felt angry that, I was doing all of these things and he wasn't. Although at the same time, it was my job to do those things, cook the dinner and take care of the kids. And those are how I made, earned my keep. So that's what I did. But then I started to feel like, well, at this point, I think we had been married maybe 10-ish years. So maybe a couple years longer. But I know that they say you have that 7-year itch kind of thing. You're like thinking what's happening. So I don't know, but I think it was around 10 years. And we had, our ups and downs through the first 10 years. Um, I wish I had kept a journal of everything that happened, because now going back on it, it's been almost 20 years since then. It's hard to remember how you felt in the midst of all of that, and what led you to where you are now. So I wish I kept a journal, but mostly what I felt throughout the whole entire time was I felt alone, and no one was helping me, and all I wanted was someone to help me. So I talked a lot to friends on the phone. I talked a lot to, social media was just invented, not really invented, but becoming more popular then. It was MySpace that was more popular. And so I would look for old friends that I knew from high school and from college on MySpace to try and track them down and see where they were. Because remember, I was in a state where I didn't know anyone, I didn't have any family, and I had some friends that I met, along the way through the kids' school and stuff, but I didn't really know anyone. So I would look for friends that I knew online. And so one day I found a friend that I had known from college, and him and I, we didn't date, but we had a friendship, and it was, more than just a regular friendship, but not a dating relationship. So anyway, we got reconnected and we started talking, and so it was weird because I kind of look forward to talking to him every day and hearing, what he thought. So I guess that's kind of where it took the turn. Was I wasn't getting an emotional attachment with my husband, even though I had been asking for that throughout our marriage. I had asked to go to counseling, and he had some ups and downs of his own through. It would be like 3 months good, like happy, everything was good, and then it would be like 1 month where he wasn't happy, and it was my fault that he was unhappy. So it would be like 3 months good, 1 month bad, 3 months good, 1 month bad. And we just kept going like this roller coaster. And so I had suggested counseling, I had suggested medication, but so since he was in the Navy, he didn't want to go either of those routes because they're frowned upon. So we didn't do that. And then, so what happened was I felt like I got very emotionally connected and attached to this guy friend from college, and I didn't know how to get out of it. I got myself stuck, and I was like, oh gosh, how am I going to get out of here? Because I'm a married person, a married woman, and I have 3 kids, and I have this husband, but I need to get out of this relationship because I just don't know what else to do. So I started running more and more and more, because it was the only place that felt my head like I could think, and it felt clearer. And so I kept running. So it was kind of like, I guess, like Forrest Gump, running and running and running away from my problems. So then a year after that, we went to, he had to go to Connecticut and for his training, and I decided I was going to move back to my hometown in Maryland. So I moved back to my hometown in Maryland, and it was kind of like a separation without being officially separated, and not having to tell anyone, because it looked like, he was going for his job and I was going just to stay at our hometown and save money. So it was kind of like an escape route, kind of like, let's do this. And I wouldn't have to go through the embarrassment of saying, something's going on in my marriage and I don't know how to fix it. And so it was kind of giving space. By the end of that year, we decided to legally separate. And he went to Virginia. We had a house that we owned in Virginia. And I moved back to Charleston, South Carolina, because we had a different house in South Carolina. So we had bought these houses in the places at the time when we lived there, but then we had been renting them out when he went to Connecticut and I went to Maryland. So the lease happened to end for both of them, and he moved in the Virginia one and I moved into the South Carolina one. So at that time, I took the kids came with me, and we just kind of randomly made schedules as far as when we could all meet up. That was a very difficult time. I ran. I did not eat healthy, anything at all. Sometimes, one time I passed out in the middle of the gym, probably from lack of nutrition, lack of water, lack of everything. I lost a lot more weight at that time. I'm 5'1". I got down to 101 pounds. Everyone in my family thought that I was something was wrong. They didn't really know what was going on. I just kept losing weight, and they just kept saying, "You don't look good. You don't look good." But it was hard for me to communicate what was happening at that time.